I just see a shower.
Give me one more year. I'll put up for one more year.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, welcome to this perfect evening out on the patio. It's Wisconsin at its finest. My name is Heidi Neubauer, and I am the president of United Way of Door County. I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. And the first thing that I would like to do is to start introduction of the rest of the board of directors. And if you would please wave when I call your name, that would be helpful. So our vice president is Jason Palmer. Our treasurer is Missy Allen. Our secretary, Susan Johnson. Our past president, Peter Kerwin. He's not here tonight, but he's got a really good reason why. He's celebrating his wedding anniversary. So he's taking some time with his wife. And we have Andy Anderson. Yay. Paula Cummings. Jim Hoding. I see Jim. Oh, there he is. Rosemary Stubbe. Denise Stillman. There you are. And last but not least, Patty Vickman. So next, I'd like to introduce our staff that are with us tonight, this evening. And we have Kelly Hellman. She is our Director of Operations. Kelly? Way over there by the entrance she is. And Cammie Pager. She's Community Impact Coordinator for Health. Christina Stubaker. She's Community Impact Coordinator for Financial Stability and Data Evaluation. And Amy Conley, our Executive Director. I'd like to thank the Max for the wonderful space here that we have tonight to have this meeting, and also to Time for the delicious food. We are especially grateful for it. Thank you. Next are our sponsors, and the sponsors for this evening are Associated Bank, Julie Dregseth, Residential Loan Officer. Baird, Billy Klitzine. Door County Eye Associates.
Hold on. You got really quiet. Okay, try that.
Maybe now you can hear me. Door County Medical Center. ERA Star Realty, Heidi Neubauer. Hawkins Ash, CPAs. Peninsula Title, and Susan Johnson. So I would like to share why I'm involved with United Way and how I got to come here to be with you tonight. I choose to donate and participate in United Way because of the people that I'm associated with. My very first taste of United Way was a grape stomping event. It's a fundraising event. I had a blast. It was so much fun. I stomped my little heart out, and then afterwards was pretty fun too, drinking the wine. But it was great because it was a community event. We brought the community together. and just did a tremendous fundraiser. And there's lots of opportunities that way with United Way to meet people and participate, lots of opportunities. So I've been involved since 2018, and I've had the honor of being on the board. One of the most rewarding and eye-opening opportunities that I've been involved in is the Community Investment Committee. Through this committee is, how many of you know, is how I learned the process in which United Way funds the agencies that they work with. Last year, United Way was able to help fund 25 different agencies. Each of these agencies reach different avenues and areas of people's lives, all which helps make Door County very healthy and strong. Through meeting with the agencies, United Way can hear what the needs are of the community and discover where my donation, your donation, would get the greatest results. So I have heard many success stories and accomplishments from these people that work in these agencies, and with the people that work directly with the people in the community that are benefiting from funding these agencies. And I have heard the need, and the need can be heartbreaking. The stories of successes, accomplishments, and needs of the community gives me the desire to donate and participate in United Way. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to welcome up our treasurer, Missy Allen.
Good evening. My name is Missy Allen, and I'm a board member for the United Way of Door County. As we celebrate our 60th anniversary of serving Door County, we look back and are very thankful. A little bit of history. 10 years ago, when we celebrated our 50th anniversary, there was a party, and we heard great stories from a few of the original board members, volunteers, and our first part-time staff member. We started way back in 1961 as a community chest, as many of the United Ways were known at that time. We slowly grew. In 1986, the campaign goal was just $86,000. When Amy, our executive director, started with United Way in 1999, the goal was $289,000. And in 2020, you entrusted us with your monetary gifts, and we raised $752,000. Thank you, thank you. We are humbled to be such an integral part of helping the community that works quietly behind the scenes, helping more than 1/3 of Door County residents. We are grateful to each of you. And as we celebrate those 60 years, we also must look ahead. We are involved in the community, looking outward and looking forward. When you see us working on the current issues and needs facing our community, we're working behind the scenes to see what is on the horizon as well. What programs, services, and resources need to be in place to meet those emerging needs. We don't do this alone. We partner with other nonprofits, government organizations, and even for-profits. Your United Way continues to have an eye on housing, childcare, and aging issues, and we are working to create lasting change in those areas and many, many more. Sometimes we don't have as much time to plan as we would like. A great example of this was 2020. Yes, a whole year that we didn't plan on. We weren't planning on a global pandemic, but we were prepared to meet the needs as they changed constantly. Nimble became one of the words that we now use to describe ourselves. At our annual meeting, Amy highlighted the work that we did in collaboration with many. We continue to thank each of you for all that you did to help us during 2020. Your time, your talent, your voice, your monetary gifts. Several silver linings came out of 2020, and we are carrying forward into 2021 and beyond. 2 examples of those things would include the Food Pantry Coalition and the online offerings of mental health programming for tweens and teens from Stride Creative. Thanks to all of you, we raised more money in 2020 than we had any year previously, and we are extremely grateful. We were able to invest more money than planned into 25 programs. Those programs are doing amazing work in the areas of education, financial stability, and healthy lifestyles. Some of those partners are here this evening. Please, if you're representing one of these partners, please wave your hand. Thank you. In the few minutes that I have left, I want to share a few other highlights with you. We are continuing to partner with Dolly Parton Imagination Library to gift books to approximately 700 Door County children ages birth to 5 years old every month. Thank you to the donors who make this possible. 1,457 mental wellness kits were distributed to elementary students prior to the start of last school year. 9,858 units of service were provided in 2020 through the programs that we invest your donor dollars in through our community investment process. 423 callers were connected to resources last year through the 211 services. 49 students received one-on-one mental health services through Stride, our school board mental health program. This was either in person or through telehealth during the 2020-2021 school year. An additional 112 students participated in the online art journaling club that helps students manage stress, uncertainty, and change. That program is led by a certified art therapist. Thank you to the donors who help provide these services. 320 unique individuals used the FamilyWise card, now the Single Care card, for prescription savings. Those 320 people saved a total of $45,690.08 on the various prescriptions they had filled in 2020. And the list goes on, but I don't. If you have questions about any of our programs or needs, please be sure to ask one of our staff after the meeting. I can't imagine what we will have to share with you in 40 years when we celebrate our 100th anniversary. I can tell you that whatever we do achieve in the next 40 years will only be because of you and so many other generous people who love Door County as much as we do. I can also tell you that Amy will perhaps have retired by then. No, please. In all seriousness, over 60 years of success is truly because of each and every one of you. Thank you. I'll now ask Amy to come up.
I guess I'll have to do a dance.
The bad girls are here.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to do dances while we stand here to keep the microphone going, right? So thank you, Missy. As you heard, I'm Amy Conley. I'm the executive director. I'll be celebrating my 22nd anniversary with United Way in a few weeks. And if you listened to WDOR the other day, as Phil did, you know Eddie got all the details on that. So we are good. I know one thing is for sure. We are going to continue to come up with fun and new ideas on how to encourage others to support United Way beyond our traditional campaign. This September, we have 2 events that are sure to put the fun in fundraising. Got to get it in every once in a while, right? Yeah, I know, hokey. One of our events is the Second Chance Prom, an adult dinner dance on September 25th at Mr. G's. We're going to have fabulous food, lots of fun, and music with Big Mouth and the Power Tool horns. More information can be found at the table when you leave or on our website. And our second event is brand new this year. So right now I'd like to invite board member Denise Stillman to come up.
Shake, shake.
Shake, shake.
I don't need a microphone.
I'm practicing for the prom, right?
Shake, shake.
I don't need a
Shake, shake.
microphone.
And she's going to talk about a brand new event.
Thank you. So the first time I was asked to be involved with the campaign was an event like this in August of 2001. And I decided that I would chair the campaign that year, which was super fun because there was a terrorist attack and we didn't think anyone was going to give any money. And our community stepped up and we hit our goal. It only seemed appropriate that once there was a global pandemic, I would get back on the involved and come out and support the I have personally supported United Way all the ways in between, but I don't like those 7:30 in the morning meetings, but I'm older now, so I'm doing them, and we're Zoom a lot of the time. Anyway, I started in Sturgeon Bay back then, and I really thought, kind of judgy, that a lot of what United Way does helped Sturgeon Bay. And a lot of Northern Door people do think that. I have since, in 2008, moved to Fish Creek and am part of the Northern Door business community. Last year, one of my tasks was to contact all of the Northern Door supporters to make sure they were going to support again. I asked for a committee. I asked for help. I was really worried about contacting all the Northern Door businesses. Let me just say, I was surprised at the size of that list. And I'm not going to shame anybody because we've got a lot of good Northern Door supporters here tonight, but there aren't enough. And so I made it a deal this year that we're going to increase the Northern Door business donations. We set a pretty big goal. I'm not going to reveal that. Paula Cummings is on the committee with me now, as is Nikki Scherig, so I got 3 people to make those calls and things. And they are incredible. They're idea people. They're great people. And we've come up with, I only have 2 minutes and no notes. Okay, you may have heard of Pirate Day for United Way. All right, so you can hear me without it, can't you? I need a pirate dance. Is there a pirate dance? All right.
Make one up.
Okay.
Just talk loud.
I'm just going to talk loud. I was very inspired when Peter Kerwin did his roof sit. It was cold. It was December. I don't really care for winter, but he raised a lot of money. And so we want to recreate that telethon environment, that sense of urgency, and have Pirate Day for United Way. On September 23rd, we will be in the Fish Creek Beach Park, the new one. It's beautiful. Park whichever direction you want. And we will be doing collections from Northern Door businesses. We will have prizes. We will have incentives. Amy may walk the plank into a big pool. We don't know. Might be a kiddie pool. We don't know. Many Northern Door businesses are getting a little bag like this. They've got eye patches. They've got bandanas. They can make it their own. They can fundraise however they want. They could do something special for one day, like we used to do on United Way Day. They could do something from September 1st to the 23rd, run their check down that day. Or it can just be a day that people run down a check for $20, $200, $20,000. I don't care. That's for you, Polly. But we want to just create a lot of excitement. We want to do it at the middle of the campaign so we can figure out where we are and who we have to call on that list afterwards. So if you know a business owner in Northern Door, if you are a business in Northern Door, make sure you get your Pirate Day for United Way. Plan something, whether it's a % of your sales, if somebody comes in with an eye patch, I don't care. We're not making rules. We're just asking for money on September 23rd at the Fish Creek Beach.
All right. Let's see. Hey. All right. It's just like the rest of us. Needed a little restart. Thank you, Denise, and thank you for that great pirate dance. I am now inspired to come up with a dance for September 23rd while I'm walking the plank. So we're going to turn away from the fun, and we're going to get a little more serious, because unfortunately a lot of the work that we do is very serious. We're going to spend some time focusing on why we do what we do. For the last 6 years, we've been talking to you about ALICE, Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. We've shared this information with you in the past, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail today. I just want to remind you that 9% of Door County residents live at or below the federal poverty level. An additional 22% live above that poverty level, but they don't make enough money to live comfortably. They might have a savings account. Most likely not. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and they're one crisis away from not being able to pay their bills. They might get a raise, and when they get that raise, they no longer qualify for maybe child care assistance or SNAP, which is the official name for food stamps. This just makes... Hey, no? Yeah. Okay, I heard a click. So unfortunately, when they get that little bit of a raise, they're just further behind. So who is Alice? We ask ourselves this often. Do I know Alice? If 31% of Door County residents are living in poverty or considered Alice, I must know somebody that's Alice. So tonight I'd like to invite up Rosemary Stubbe, one of our board members, to share with us a little bit more about what it's like to be Alice. Rosemary? The on-off seems to be the trick.
Okay, I'm pretty loud, so we'll see.
I know, we're all pretty loud.
We're pretty
so.
loud.
Okay, okay. My name is Rosemary Stubbe. I'm a board member for United Way, and I'm sharing this story as the author couldn't be here tonight. I was asked if I could tell the story about being Alice at one time in my life for tonight's meeting. Quite honestly, I had to think about it. Not because I'm embarrassed, but because of the memories of not so long ago that came flooding back. In 2001, I found myself separated and filing for divorce after 17 and a half years of marriage. My son was 8 years old, and we had to find a new place to live that would take a cat. Not easy, and something I could afford, even harder. See, my husband refused to give me any monetary support until the divorce was final, and I was not working much of a job then. I was pretty nervous. How could I do this work, take care of my son, be there for school functions, etc.? With just a high school diploma, my fault, I know, jobs with a living wage were scarce. I was able to get a float teller job with Associated Bank, but that was basically 2 to 3 days a week unless someone was on vacation, not to mention it entailed traveling anywhere from Sister Bay, Bailey's Harbor, or 3 branches in Sturgeon Bay. I was grateful my son was in school so that my child care expenses were kept to a minimum. But we couldn't survive on a couple days a week job, so I picked up a bartending job on Friday nights when my son was with his dad. I also worked at a local gas station in the evenings, but unfortunately I sometimes had to bring my 8-year-old son with me. I have no family here, and who could afford a sitter? But I was grateful for the work and quickly got a full-time position at the bank, meaning finally medical benefits for me, yay. My son was always covered under his dad's retirement in the military, so that was a blessing. Yeah? Yeah? No? I kept the gas station job, but kept the bartending job. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I would save half my tips so I could take Jake on a little trip in the summer before school started. We'd go to Wisconsin Dells for 2 days and have a ball at Noah's Ark. Of course, we stayed in motels, definitely not a Kalahari, but just getting away once a year was special for us both. Now, I need you to understand something. My bills were paid. My son always had clothes, school supplies, food to eat, but many, many times it was because I would take out that plastic card and get a cash advance. I know. What a huge mistake, but ask yourselves, what would you do to keep your child fed and happy besides working 2 jobs already? I didn't know how to ask, and quite honest, I always figured, to be quite honest, I always figured others needed these things more than we did. I've always been the person to leave my change for the Ronald McDonald House. My son and I would volunteer at the children's Christmas store with the United Way when they ran it. I tried to raise my son to always be grateful for what we had and to help those less fortunate. I never realized until I heard about Alice that I was that person. Fast forward a couple of years, and I did remarry briefly. My son was 12, and I know a part of me was hoping the financial burden would be lifted by getting married. It was not to be. My husband at the time had a decent job, but became very, very ill. It took many trips to specialists in Milwaukee, Minnesota, and Green Bay to find out what was wrong, so that meant missing work for me, and he hadn't worked in months. Here come the bills mounting, and out comes the credit card to survive. It was very hard on my son as well, because unfortunately he was not getting along with his stepdad. Finally, the right doctor figured out what was wrong, and my husband got healthy again. Bills were still mounting, but my son was old enough to stay home alone at this point, so I picked up another cashier job at the gas station just down the road from where we lived. At this point, let me catch you up. I'm working full-time at the bank, bartending on Friday nights, and now the gas station on Saturday and Sunday evenings, only taking off for special occasions. The pills had to get paid, and even with us both working and my part-time jobs, things were tight. Then at 14, my son seemed to stop growing. He would have regular checkups, and the doctors would say he's fine, but he'd complain constantly about stomach pain. One day he called me at work and asked me to pick him up from his dad's because he wasn't feeling good. After work, I picked him up, and he was running a fever. I brought him home and started to make him something when he screamed, the worst scream I'd ever heard. He was in a fetal position crying, and I rushed him to the ER. That was the beginning of a 10-week hell for my son. He was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I won't go into great detail, but after a time at Door County Medical Center, we ended up at St. Mary's in Green Bay. My baby was 15 years old then, and he weighed 71 pounds. When he was at St. Mary's, I basically lived in my car. I was an office manager at this time at a local dentist office, and my only day off was Wednesday afternoon, so I would work all day and head straight to the hospital, stay till the doctors would come in the morning, go to work, and do it all over again, day after day, for 2 weeks. In a sense, I was lucky to be able to continue working. Bills don't stop because your son is sick. Then I got a phone call from my son's doctor. There's nothing more they can do. He's going to Children's Hospital today. All I can say is I was grateful for having a suitcase always packed, because by the time my son's dad and I got to the hospital, they were putting him in an ambulance. We followed separately to Children's, thinking the surgery that was needed would be done the next morning, but that wasn't to be. He was too sick to survive surgery at this point, and they had to get him healthier before they could operate. This meant a couple of things. His stay would be longer, and I would not be able to work again. 6 weeks my son stayed, and I was fortunate enough that after 3 days staying in his room, I got a room at the Ronald McDonald House. I guess putting my change in their donation box for years was my blessing. During this time, my marriage came to an end, and my son and I were once more on our own. We found a small duplex in town and started over again. He was working at a local winery stocking shelves that summer, and I picked up a weekend job there as well. At least we were able to spend time together. I worked for 7 days a week, 9 months straight, plus still doing the Friday night bartending before I had a day off. Was I exhausted? I guess I didn't have time to think about it. I now had my portion of his bill to pay off, $6,000. I just can't imagine if he had not had insurance. Where does a single mom go for help? Where does any family who falls under the Alice guideline go for help? We work hard. We provide for our families, but it just takes one catastrophe. Maybe it's your car, maybe it's a job loss, or maybe it's your child or your spouse becoming so ill you can't work. Fast forward to today, ladies and gentlemen, and my son is healthy, working in the banking field and bartending 1 night a week. Go figure. Myself, I am blessed to have met an incredible man 6 years ago who wanted me to retire early so I could do what he says I was born to do, give back. We married 4 years ago, and although I kept working a short time, I am now retired and sit on a local nonprofit board, as well as give as much of my time to the United Way once again. Remember, I said I helped with the Christmas store. There are other ways we try to help the community, but we keep that to ourselves. I asked my husband if he would be embarrassed if I signed my name, and he said absolutely not. So, with that, I leave you 2 things. One is a quote I saw on Facebook. Somebody asked me what I'm going to do when I make it to the top. I said, reach my hand back down for the rest. And the other is, yes, I am Alice. Signed, Lori Chapman. Thanks for listening. And now Amy.
I hear noise. All right. Rosemary, thank you so much for sharing that story. Some of you know Lori. Lori Chapman is a very active United Way volunteer. She couldn't join us today because she is visiting her family. We are right now on Facebook Live, which is why my phone is here, so maybe she's watching us, and I know she'll watch it at some point. Lori's story is just one of many. Lori didn't get help from the programs that United Way funds, but she did get help from others, such as the Ronald McDonald House. But in her story, she said she didn't know who to ask. She didn't know how to get help, so she used her credit cards instead. Well, now we have the Partnership for Children and Families, and we have a position called the Community Connector, and that's Rebecca Nicholson. She is there to help anyone with children navigate the variety of services that exist and to help them access the ones that are best for them. There's no fee for her services. It's completely confidential. And there's also 211. So anyone can just pick up the phone and call 211, tell that operator right here in Wisconsin their story, and they'll get them connected to the best resources possible. So before we close out the evening with that exciting campaign announcement, I want to turn things back over to Board President Heidi Neubauer.
Thanks, Amy. And thank you, Rosemary, for sharing Lori's story. I don't know about you, but that quote that she had in there at the end about reaching back, that definitely gave me that was a tearjerker. This is just one of the many stories that Alice in our community. 31% of Door County residents are either living at or below the federal poverty level, or are above poverty but below what is considered stability budget. The programs that United Way invests in help people of all income levels. However, we know that many are Alice and have stories such as Lori's. I would once again like to thank the Max Time Catering and our sponsors for this evening. And once the program is done, there is a variety of desserts coming out. So please don't leave. And at this time, I'd like to invite Amy back up. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Every time I come up here, I get to do a little dance. So a big round of applause for Heidi. She was a little nervous tonight, so great job. Hello? Okay. So as you may recall, last year's campaign was an amazing success because each of you did your part to give, advocate, and volunteer. What you heard tonight is just a glimpse of how those dollars were invested into our community this year. If you want to learn more about our work in the community, please don't hesitate to ask any one of the board or staff members. We are hopeful and confident that because of you, our community, that this year we will raise, my fake drum roll, $775,000 to meet the ever-changing and complex needs of our community. I urge you to take what you heard today, share it with a few more people. And of course, it's our campaign kickoff, so that means when I'm done speaking, some board members will be coming around with pledge cards for you. Again, it's a pledge card. We just ask that you think about making that gift this evening. I'm not going to cry. Okay. A gift to United Way saves lives. It provides resources to parents. It helps those who are considered Alice. It helps them make ends meet. You never know who's benefiting from a gift to United Way. Your gift matters, and we urge you to give from your heart and make sure that United Way can meet those ever-growing needs. Problems, the ones people don't have the stomach for, the ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties, except us, right? The ones that can't be solved. We go looking for those problems. We search them out. We all have one life. We have one life to live better and to live united. So I thank you for being here this evening. Please stick around, enjoy those desserts, and if you're so inclined to complete that pledge card this evening, we really appreciate it. You can turn it in at the registration table where you came in. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad you guys could join us.
See you, Paul.